Hello and welcome to another video for Terramaster and Service and IT Distribution R&R. Today we're going to be installing our own AI on our Terramaster NAS system. We are now inside of VirtualBox on your Terramaster NAS system, and we will now be doing the setup for how to install this AI. You need a name, a type, and Ubuntu 64. You need to have the ISO already downloaded. If you haven't seen them before, we have other guides, but basically you need the Ubuntu 64 ISO. The name is not important. I'm just choosing Terramaster here as an example. Then after that you need to make sure that Linux is selected and Ubuntu 64. After that we need to assign some RAM to this machine. The more the better. I'm gonna go with 8 gigs of RAM. Normally it's 8192, but I'm gonna be just picking 8098. After that we're gonna need to make a hard drive, and in this case here we're going to be creating a new hard drive. We're gonna be making sure that we select QCove because it's faster, so make sure it's selected. After that we're going to have dynamically allocated. Then we're just going to give it some space. In my case I'm going to just put 200 gigs for this test virtual machine, and this is just for the demonstration purposes. You can pick whatever you want, just make sure that it's a decent size. Next thing, you need to make sure that you change a few settings. First, remove the floppy device. Make sure that you allocate as many processor cores as possible because it's going to be very heavy intensive until you add a GPU. Make sure that you have some video memory, and make sure that you add the ISO for the Ubuntu. After that we're going to be going into network, and make sure that you have bridged adapter selected because we're going to be making a web GUI and we need a bridged adapter. After that we're going to go into installing the Ubuntu server. And this is the Ubuntu server edition, so make sure that you have the Ubuntu server edition on your Terramaster NAS. We're just waiting for it to boot up into the installer here, just waiting for it. By the way, this installation is being done on a F8 SSD Plus, but you can do this on basically any Terramaster NAS unit as long as it's decently powered. 4 CPU cores or more. Make sure you select the English version or whatever language that you want. Make sure you install the latest update to the installer. Wait for it to restart. Make sure that you identify your keyboard. I have a Swedish keyboard, so I'm just going through the guide here to make sure that I have the Swedish keyboard selected. Next, make sure that Ubuntu server is selected and click done, or press enter. It will give you a network address in case from your router. Next, it's going to test that you have internet connection. Once the test has been completed, make sure that you press done. This is a virtual disk, so you don't need to do anything here. And just click done and then go to continue. Over here you enter your names and admins and basically your account for this virtual machine. Since this is a dummy machine, I'm just gonna enter Terramaster and put Terramaster on everything because it's just a dummy machine. So for me it doesn't matter, but you should probably pay more attention. After that, make sure you can skip this Ubuntu Pro because you don't need it. Make sure that you install OpenSSH server because you are going to need it, so make sure you install it. Next, make sure that you click install Docker because that is where we're going to be hosting our web UI later, so make sure you install that. After that, just wait for the installer to finish and just let it do its thing. It will do an update and stuff like this. Once the installation has been complete, make sure that you click reboot now. This error message that you will get at the end of the installer is normal because VirtualBox is auto unmounting the installer. Just press enter and it will automatically reboot. Once it's rebooting, let's just wait for it to finish. Log in to your new virtual machine. Next, we're going to be doing the update because you should always update after you install something, so we're going to be doing that. I'm just going to type sudo su because I really don't want to type sudo every time I type something, so I'm just going to do sudo su and enter my password. After that, I'm going to do apt get update and ampersand apt get upgrade and then -y, and it will automatically download everything and update everything. And then we just wait for it to finish. And as I said, this will work on any Terramaster NAS as long as you have 4 cores or more. The more newer NAS you have, the better it will perform. We're going to be teaching you how to add a GPU to this later. So basically the idea will be that you have your gaming PC, and it will add your GPU to this AI later, and it will synchronize with your Terramaster NAS, and it will use both parts. But if you don't want to use a GPU, you don't need to. I will show you. It's pretty fast without the GPU, but with a GPU you can do more complicated things like stable diffusion and stuff like this. But let's just wait for this installer to finish, and let's see. We're also going to be installing a web UI to make sure that you have a decent web page to do this. And this is all locally, by the way. So everything that you do here is local. There is nothing going out on the internet. There's no information going out. So it's all local. Once the installer has finished, we're going to be doing an IP check, because we're going to be moving over to the SSH. So make sure that you type IPA and pipe, and then you do grep, and then you do enet, and it will display the IP number. So just make sure you type the IP number down, and we're gonna head over into the SSH client. Over in SSH, we're gonna do curl -fssl https ollama.com install.sh, and then pipe into activate sh. This will install Ollama, which will be our AI, so to speak. It will be the control center for the AI, more or less. And then you just type in your password and let the installer do its thing. When the installer has done its thing, we need to pull down a model for the AI to use. We're going to be using Llama 3.2 latest version for this example. So it's a small model. You can download the 3.1 version as well. It's a little bit larger, but 3.2 will work perfectly fine for this. It's actually a little bit more modern version, so I would recommend it. And then we just wait for it to downloading. This will depend on your internet speed. I have 1 gigabit over here, so it should download fairly quickly depending on the connection to their servers. And just remember that everything here is local. That means that you're basically pulling down everything to your NAS, and everything will run on the NAS. And basically it's more secure. So safe and secure. That is what we like. Just wait for it to finish. After it's been pulling, it's gonna do it's checking and make sure that everything is fine and yada yada yada. Just wait for it to finish. I made this video, by the way, in the middle of the night, so sorry if I seem tired or anything, but in the middle of the night. So there we go. It's doing its verification. Just wait for it to finish. There you go. It's all done. Now, once it has finished, we're gonna go into the next step. The next step is gonna be type Ollama serve. This will generate a new API and stuff like this that you're gonna need. And after that, we're gonna go into the next step. And the next step will be Ollama. And just make sure that it works as it should be. I'm typing in the wrong command here, so I'm just going to type Ollama, and here we go. So it will basically show you the menu, and we're going to do run and make sure that the model is working. So we're going to type Ollama, run, and then the model name. And as you can see, once you have typed Ollama run and the model name, it will start thinking and try to verify it. And there you go, you get a prompt token just like ChatGPT. And then basically you can just test it out to make sure that it's working. So what is Little Red Riding Hood in 3 sentences? And let's see what it spits out. And this is all in real time, by the way, so nothing speed up or anything like that. So it's pretty fast. And this is just with CPU, yeah? This is just with CPU with the NAS. And next, let's try and see if it knows what, well, Terramaster, for example. Let's take a look at Terramaster, for example. What is Terramaster, let's say F8 423? Let's see if it knows what that is. I don't think so, because I don't think it's in this model what it is, but let's see if it knows what it is. Just for fun, to make sure. In 3 sentences, just to make it a little bit faster. So let's see what it is. And yeah, as I suspected, Terramaster is not inside of this model. However, let's see if the Terramaster company is in the model. So what is a Terramaster? Question mark. And well, it knows what Terramaster is, and it tells you that it is a brand name for series of networks attached storage devices. Well, no, pretty accurate. And Terramaster is a well-known brand in the NAS market, which is correct. All right. So now we're gonna be going into the next step to install a web UI. So we're gonna be typing /by to make sure that we shut down this prompt. We don't need this prompt anymore, so /by. And let's go into installing the web UI. To install the web UI, we're gonna need this command for the Docker. It is basically docker runs -d network host open web UI with the backend data. And then after that, it's gonna be restart always, and then basically the Docker container's name. Now this is gonna be failing because I didn't type sudo and I was tired in the middle of the morning. So it's basically gonna say that. So after that, I did it with sudo and then it works. And after that, we just wait for it to finish. After that, when it has finished, we're gonna do docker ps to make sure that it's actually up and running. So let's just wait for it to finish. There we go. And then we're gonna do docker ps, and as you can see, it is started up. So let's head over to the web browser and do the rest of the configurations. Over in the web browser, if you type in the IP address of your virtual machine, and then you type 8080, you're gonna be open and greeted by the Open Web UI. You're gonna need to click on registration. This is for Swedish because I have Swedish thingy, so you basically need to click on registration, type in your information, and then after that you're going to be greeted with this login page. Over in the login page, you will see that there is no model. We need to add the model and connection to the server. So up in the top right, you're going to have administration panel. You need to select that. After that, you will see that your account is there. You need to make sure you go on settings, click on connections, and as you can see here, there is a few things. And as you can see, it cannot connect. And you can also see that you have the chat GPT. We're going to disable that. In the Ollama API, we just need to make sure that we put on the local address, so 127.0.0.1. And by doing this, it will work. Server connection verified. Next, after that, we're going to make sure that the model is selected. Llama, look at that, perfectly. And after that, we're going to go to web search to make sure that the AI can do some web search for us. We will click on Gina, open it, make sure you enable it, and click on save. And then go back and click on save on the other one because I forgot to click there, so let's do that. Next, we're gonna try and see if the AI is working. So if it's working, then up in the top left, you're gonna be able to select the model, click on standard if you want to do that, and then give it a task. In this case, we're gonna do a task. What is Terramaster? This is actually going to be with the web search enabled, so it's going to take a little bit longer than a normal. However, it will generate a result. And in this case, it will also generate some links. Terramaster is a brand of network attached storage devices and other storage solutions. And as you can see, it works. And after that, we're going to do the Little Red Riding Hood test. And then we're going to do that one locally without internet access. So it's not going to do a web search or anything. This one was with web search enabled. So let's do the Little Red Riding Hood without the web search. So over here, just type What is Little Red Riding Hood? And then it's gonna generate a response. And this is all in real time, nothing is sped up, this is all real time. And this is just working straight out of the NAS, no GPU. You can add a GPU to this without any problems. As I said, we're gonna show you how to do that, but there you go. Now you have an AI on your NAS. Thank you very much and hope you enjoy it.